Donald Trump is panicking as Iran has instantly rejected Donald Trump's proposal to end the war, which Iran sees as a surrender. Donald Trump has been desperately trying to reach out to Iran through intermediaries in the Middle East like Egypt and like Pakistan. And Iran says, first and foremost, we will not have any negotiations with Jared Kushner or Steve Witkoff. Iran refers to them as the, quote, backstabbing negotiators, and they refuse to even speak with them anymore. In addition, Iran says that anything essentially short of a surrender by the United States would be unacceptable at this point, and Iran has stated that if Donald Trump wants to negotiate with Iran about a resolution, that Donald Trump and the Trump regime would have to agree to the following terms. Let's take a look at what those terms are. Iran says that the following terms must be met. Number 1, the closure of all U.S. bases in the Gulf region. Number 2, a new Strait of Hormuz framework that would allow Iran to collect fees from ships that transit the waterway as Egypt now does with the Suez Canal. In addition, Iran says that there must be an end to all sanctions against Iran. There must be an end to Israeli operations against Lebanese Hezbollah. There can be no discussions on Iran's ballistic missiles. And Iran also says that it must have guarantees that a war would not restart and not have additional strikes by the United States and Israel ever again. Further, the top spokesperson for the Iranian Revolutionary Guard put out the following message as well. You have reached a stage in your negotiations, US and Donald Trump, where you are now negotiating with yourselves. Do not call your defeat an agreement. There will be no news of your investments in the region, and you will not see the former price of energy and oil. Stop proposing nonsense. Stop pretending you are negotiating with us. If you don't agree to our terms of surrender, we are uninterested in having any communications with you, and don't call your defeat an agreement. Meanwhile, Donald Trump and his regime were proposing a 30-day ceasefire and a 15-point plan, which Iran says, well, it seems like all you're offering us is for you and Israel to be able to use a ceasefire in order to build back up your munitions to then further attack us during the ceasefire. So here is what the U.S. proposed to Iran, and then Iran countered with the terms that I just gave you. The U.S. demanded that Iran must dismantle its existing nuclear capabilities. Iran must commit never to pursue nuclear weapons. There will be no uranium enrichment on the Iranian territory. Iran must hand its stockpile of some 450 kilos of uranium enriched to 60% to the International Atomic Energy Agency in the near future, and a timetable to be agreed. The Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordow nuclear facilities must be dismantled. Pause there, Donald. Didn't you say you'd fully obliterated those facilities? The IAEA, the UN's nuclear watchdog, must be granted full access, transparency, and oversight inside Iran. Iran must abandon its regional proxy paradigm. Iran must cease the funding, direction, and arming of its regional proxies. The Strait of Hormuz must remain open and function as a free maritime corridor. Iran's missile program must be limited in both range and quantity. Any future use of missiles would be restricted to self-defense. In return, Iran would benefit as follows. Full lifting of sanctions imposed by the international community. The U.S. would assist Iran in advancing its civilian nuclear program, including electricity generation at the Bushehr nuclear plant, and the so-called snapback mechanism, which allows for the automatic reimposition of sanctions if Iran fails to comply, would be removed. And Iran says those terms are nonsense. That's just a way that Trump and Netanyahu are trying to buy additional time. Iran says, we know your tricks and we're done with them and we don't trust any of that. You must agree to our terms first, which I just read to you. A few data points that I think are important to reflect on as well right now. Number 1, LNG from the Middle East. It's running out, and places like Taiwan are very dependent on it. Taiwan, whose electrical grid relies on the liquefied natural gas for 40% of its power generation, has an LNG emergency stockpile that will last around 11 days. Taiwan may be forced to ration power or reduce electricity to its industrial sector. Rationing power, rationing oil, rationing supplies, just like we saw during COVID, is back. We're seeing it across the world. And again, this is a natural consequence of Donald Trump and his regime's incompetence. You also have the Iranian Armed Forces spokesman saying in a statement in Arabic the following. He just released this statement. Dear Muslim brothers, we do not need a country that is thousands of kilometers away to ensure our region's security, nor do we need a country that views Islamic countries as cash cows. What good has America and its bases in the region brought you? The spokesman added, we must learn from the mistakes of the past and the lack of supportive force which caused the Arabs' defeat in the 1967 and 1973 wars. We must unite to ensure our security and establish a comprehensive defense union. On the other hand, American media leaked that Iran is expressing expressing a preference for negotiating with J.D. Vance, although Iran isn't confirming that at all. And that seems to be coming from just the United States. Now, I will show you what Iran is releasing because, folks, things are escalating. You have U.S. troops pushing forward, as I mentioned in other videos, 86 Airborne Division elite paratrooper units and others from the 82nd Airborne Division who are heading to the Middle East. You have the Marine Expeditionary Unit aboard the USS Tripoli, which will arrive in the Middle East on Friday for a potential ground invasion of the Karg Island in the northern Persian Gulf. That's where a lot of the oil reserves and oil is generated in Iran, right there on the Karg Island. So we believe there may be a ground invasion coming up there. So escalation there by the US and Israel. On the other hand, Iran responding as well with Iranian-backed militias carrying out successful FPV first-person view drone strikes on Camp Victory in Iraq, successfully hitting multiple targets. And Iran is releasing this footage. You'll see over here one of the FPV attack munitions hitting a parked UH-60 Blackhawk. You see it right there. Here you'll take a look at a strike on an operating an MPQ-64 Sentinel radar. Just watch as you'll see these FPV drones, these first-person viewing drones right here, traveling around basically with impunity, not being shot down. They use these swarm techniques, though, where they put a lot of these drones in different directions all at once. So you put a dozen or several dozen drones all over the place with decoys as well, and then you maneuver the ones that are armed, and most of them are armed, but you maneuver them towards whether it's the Black Hawk, whether it's towards the radar. And I mean, you just see in these videos that it's been relatively easy for Iran to strike these targets, and Iran sending a message. We can do this at any time if we want to. So you remember yesterday, I've covered this on a lot of videos. I don't think I need to play it again I don't think I need to play it again where Donald Trump held that bizarre press conference in the Oval Office where he said, Iran gave me a gift. We got this beautiful gift from Iran. And what a lovely gift that they sent us. And it was such a great present. And Iran responded through their state regime media called Mayor. And that's their state regime media. And it's the Iranian regime saying, we're sending you the gift, Donald. Here's the gift that we're sending you, the big, beautiful gift. And it's a ballistic missile. And it's actually a ground-to-ground missile strike that Iran alleges hit the U.S. base in Ariel in Iraq. This is the gift we send Trump, is what they said here. Let's play this clip right here. Also, you have Iran just kind of mocking Donald Trump and his regime, and they have their propagandists creating like Lego animation videos. I'll show you the latest one they just dropped here. Let's play this clip right here.
Yeah, make America great again now. We will see what happens, yeah. Watch this. Sacred defense, we protecting the soil.
And then in response, you have the United States and Israel saying that for now, they are not planning to murder from drop site. Iran's chief diplomat, Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, or the parliament speaker Mohammad Bagh-Ghalibaf. And on C14 News Israel, which is one like their Fox there, right? It's what's one of their top channels right there. They're saying that Israel would be open to the assassination of these two senior political figures. It's one of their options, but they're not going to pull the trigger yet to kill them. That's how they're talking about it on Israel TV. Iran, meanwhile, has responded to the potential for a U.S. ground invasion as follows. For years, we have been waiting for the American entry. We just have one message for the American soldiers. Come closer. Come closer. This, as I mentioned before, the Pentagon has deployed 5,000 additional Marines and thousands of other soldiers from the 82nd and others who are heading to the Middle East. Worth talking about what's going on in Lebanon right now. Israeli attacks have killed over 1,072 people and wounded about 2,966 people since March 2nd. This is according to the Lebanese Health Ministry saying Tuesday. This says Israel is having essentially this ground invasion into Lebanon. We've seen Beirut basically reduced to rubble the last 24 hours. 33 killed, 90 wounded from what we can see in the photos and visuals, mostly women and children. And so we'll keep you posted every step of the way throughout the day and the might. I'll just share this with you as well. So yesterday, yesterday as Donald Trump talks about a month-long ceasefire with Iran, which Iran's like, we're not going to do, that drops the oil prices at one point yesterday down to $86.50 per barrel. The market manipulation is so flagrant and so obvious. Trump will make up. I mean, the whole week so far has been Trump market manipulation, right? It starts Monday morning. Donald Trump lies. He says, we have a peace deal with Iran in principle. So the markets were going to crash. Then they temporarily rebounded on that news. Then Donald Trump yesterday says, oh, actually, we want a 30-day ceasefire. We're having productive conversations, right? The markets, Iran's like, we're not doing any of this. What are you talking about? And Iran's whole view is that Trump and Netanyahu are doing this as a trick, that this is to buy time for a ground invasion. We can't have serious negotiations because the last time we negotiated, we were invaded. You know, the war started when we thought we had a deal in principle. So now you want us to negotiate to buy time. You want a ceasefire to rebuild your munitions and to you running low on munitions and interceptors. So you want time. Why would we give you time, is what Iran's saying. Iran's like, we're not dumb. We know why you want to do this. And Donald Trump's out there like, they gave me a gift. They gave me a present. Oh, we're really grateful for what they've done. And meanwhile, let's not forget, there were hundreds of thousands, if not more, pro-democracy protesters from Iran in January who were begging for help. And Trump said, I'm going to help you. I've got your back. And then Trump didn't have their back. He didn't even have troops anywhere near to help them. And they were massacred by the thousands and thousands. And now, as Donald Trump talks about doing partnerships with the Ayatollah and working with the Ayatollah, if there are these large pro-democracy contingencies in Iran, why would they rise up if they know that you're going to throw them under the bus and get them massacred while you're out there talking about Iran giving you gifts and Iran's responding by mocking you, sending their first-person viewing drones right into Camp Victory and showing how easy they can destroy American military, and then sending these ground-to-ground missiles that are saying, here's your gift, Donald. I mean, this is truly a humiliation ritual for the United States of America. It's like the most humiliating moment in the history of our country right now. I don't know how else you can see it. Anyway, hit subscribe.